Footy is back. I know it was just an intra-club match, but goddamn, footy is back and the Pies are looking the goods, are looking the absolute goods. Let's get into it. So last night, Collingwood had their season launch where they had an intra-club match. So, the Ballarat team versus the BenZerO team in the Goldfields Cup, the inaugural Goldfields Cup. In this video, I just want to talk about my standouts, my thoughts on the intra-club match, like watching those highlights and what it sort of meant and stuff. Players who I think need to show a little bit more, whatever it may be, everything about the intra-club match. Here are my thoughts. So we'll start with the standouts, and of course, we're going to start with Finn McCrae. He had 20 plus disposals, 5 clearances, the first 3 clearances of the game, 7 score involvements. I tweeted, I've seen enough. Finn plays round 0. And I don't know who comes out for him in that team, but Finn plays. I can't see a team or our team without Finn in it, especially with what he's had to do. Darcy Cameron at the end of the game said that Finn spends hours after training perfecting those sort of clearances, getting it from the ruck and just bursting out of the pack. And we saw, I know it's just the intra-club, and I know it's just an intra-club, but that's probably the best that we've ever seen Finn at. And he's going up against, so he was in the white Ballarat team. He was going up against Pendles, I think Tom Mitchell was in the black, Nick Dacos, a bunch of other, premiership midfielders, and Finn just absolutely dominated. He is just going to set the world alight. Now, winning a premiership and having this type of midfielder just in the gun, ready to go when you put him on, says a lot about the depth that we have, and we've looked over that in the last couple of videos. And just where Finn is as a player, and I am very excited to see him finally get his chance in the senior side. Patrick Lipinski. He was burdened by a bung shoulder most of last season, and we know that last season wasn't as good as his 2022 season, but kicked 2 goals in the intra-club match, and he was back to his best, hitting targets, running up and down. That was probably the best that we've seen Lipinski in a long time as well, probably since that 2022 season. So Lipinski is back, and he's another one where I thought he could be the one that sort of makes way for Finn out of the team. Remember, he started as the substitute in 2020 in the grand final. But after that performance, and of course we're going to base this on just what we've seen now. We still have the Kangaroos game, we still have the Richmond game to watch. Based on that performance, I can't see him coming out of the team either. So I would hate to be a selector right now. Bobby Hill, 3 goals. He is still flying high after that grand final, after that Norm Smith, and after that mark. He's still on that high. No, I saw someone, I think it was SEN, said no Norm Smith hangover. Bobby kicked 3 goals, yes, as you want a small forward to kick those goals. Not only was he doing that, he was breaking ankles. He was he broke, figuratively broke, who was it? Billy Frampton's ankles. Bit of a how's it going, and he looks like he could take his game to the next level and could be one of the premier small forwards in the competition. I don't think anyone sort of talked about it, but is there like maybe a top 40 All-Australian selection coming for Bobby if he has a better season than he did last year? I think he will have a better season than he did last year, and maybe it's on the cards. I dare say that we have 5 to 7 All-Australians. Maybe not 7, maybe that's too much. But who cares? 5 to 7 All-Australians by the end of the year. Now, the biggest one, and there's a couple more I want to talk about, but the biggest one here is Ash Johnson, Nathan Kruger, and Reef McInnes. Kruger kicked 3 goals. I think Ash kicked 2, and there was none for Reef. Kruger and Ash were on the white team, who were getting a lot of the ball, who ended up winning by 50 or something points. Reef McInnes was on the black team, so there wasn't a lot of opportunities. But let's talk about Kruger for a second. And I talked about him in the forward depth section of that last video. Kruger could be the McCrae replacement if he can get his body right. He's shown every single sign that he's that big marking, kicking key forward that we need. And I think that yesterday sort of proved that. Ash Johnson as well did everything right. We know that Ash is one of the top choices, but Nathan Kruger is a sneaky chance to come into that team as a mixed day role. I'm pretty sure they're similar weight, similar height. So Kruger is that sort of sneaky chance. Let's see what he can do in the next 2 practice matches for us to sort of make a decision. Reef though, there was that one opportunity that Reef had where he snapped it from maybe 15 meters out and didn't make the distance. It got touched on the line. That sort of stuff doesn't fly with me anyway. If Reef wants to be that second, third forward and he's going up against Ash and Nathan Kruger, just based on that game, he has a lot of work to do. They've been training him as a forward all year, so I don't think he pushes into the mids. But Reef, yeah, we've seen him at senior level. Sometimes he goes missing. We need to see him dominate the Kangaroos, has to dominate against the Roos, and has to do really well against Richmond if they're to consider him for that round 0 team. Jordan Ngoe picked up where he left off. There's definitely an All-Australian Blazer and a career best season coming up for Jordan Ngoe if he can keep this up. I know it's just an intra-club match, but he did everything right and has just gone to the next level. Burger in the midfield, he was playing 50% midfield, 50% in the forward line. Like I said weeks ago before I think preseason training even began, I said I want to see Bo in the middle, and we are seeing Bo in the middle, and I don't think he's going to rack up 30 possessions a game. He's not going to be that sort of Dane Swan prowess. But I do think that pinch hitting in the middle as that sort of bull, he broke contest, he broke tackles yesterday. When we need someone to sort of get us going, it's going to be Bo. The last guy as a standout here I want to talk about is Charlie Dean. Now, with Nathan Murphy pulling himself out of all the practice matches until he gets his head right, let's talk about that in another video. I feel like Charlie Dean, it's his spot to lose now. His distribution could be a little bit better, but he's a natural defender, and we don't have a lot of them who can play that sort of Murphy role. So hopefully his foot holds up really well, because I want to see Charlie Dean. There was really big raps on him, and I want to see Charlie Dean do really well. And that Murphy grand final position could be Charlie Dean's in round 0. Now we'll talk about the SSPs. So we know that Josh Eyre wasn't involved. Sofronides was serviceable, did what he needed to do as a defender, did a couple of nice things. Bytel, I feel like, wasn't really seen much of, same as Campbell Huswaite. I think Teagle did a couple of good things as a forward ruck. He kicked 1 goal, played for the black team, so wasn't a lot of things for him to sort of do because they got dominated. The one guy who I want to talk about, who I've been talking about for weeks, Lockie Sullivan, same like Finn, I've seen enough. Lock him in. God, that was bad. I'm so sorry. Lock him in for that one of the SSP spots, because he looks like I think he's 26. He looks like he's been playing 150, 200 AFL games, and you know his CV at Footscray is outstanding. You know, best and fairest. I think he came second in the JJ Liston. The captain of Footscray's VFL side. Lock him in because he's going head to head with Tom Mitchell for that inside mid spot, I feel like. And his team up with Finn was the 1-2 I didn't know I needed until now. It was like Batman and Superman. I was going to say Batman and Robin, but it was like Batman and Superman. I really like seeing them two team up, and they could be our midfielders for the next 5-6 years. Who really knows? And then, yeah, so that's the SSPs. So they're the notes that I sort of took from yesterday, and you can tell me who sort of else impressed you. And, you know, the likes of like Nick Dacos was doing his thing, Scott Pendlebury, not really want to talk about that guys. Josh Carmichael along the wing did really well. But I was just very excited that football was back. It was our first taste of competitive Collingwood, and it's very exciting. I don't want to go too early and say, oh, well, it's back to back. We're definitely winning, because it was just an intra-club game. But from what I saw, we haven't really regressed. I feel like we're getting better. So 2022, we were sort of learning Fly's way week by week. 2023, we started perfecting it, right? Obviously, we capped it off with a premiership. I think this year, after 2 years of Fly's system, this is the year where I feel like those close wins, we've got them in our belt. We know we can do them, but we're going to start blowing teams away now. I feel like that's where the natural progression is for us. And that's what I want to see. I want to see us putting teams to the sword that we have to in the first, second quarter, and then sort of chilling out. You know, like you got to think that Adelaide game last year, were we up by 6 or 7 goals and we let Adelaide kick 9 or something goals in a row and we only go on to win by, I think it was like 1 or 2 points at the MCG. We can't do that. And I don't think we'll be doing that this season. I think the natural progression of this team is to start putting teams to the sword. And from what I saw yesterday, the boys are just as hungry as ever. And when you have guys like Lockie Sullivan, guys like Charlie Dean, Finn McCrae, Reef, Ash, Nathan Kruger, all in the seconds in the reserves, wanting to jump into that senior side, the boys are going to want to be on fire, and they're going to want to not lose their spot to these guys coming up, because it is going to be insane for the selectors in the panel and insane for us as supporters to watch. It's going to be a very, very good, I can just feel it, a very good journey in 2024. But these have just been my thoughts on the Intraclub match. Let me know your thoughts down below. Who impressed you, who didn't, what do you want to see more of? And next week when we play the Roos on Wednesday at the AIA Centre, I'll be down there. I've got the day off work, so I'll be down there. I'm going to be doing a swooping around. It's back, starting early this season. And yeah, I hope to see you guys down there. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, double shakers. I'll soup you later.